Okay. Uh, so what I really want to do tonight is kind of help, especially the newer officials, get on board. Uh, just got the basic Zoom program, so I'm kind of limited to about 30 some minutes or something like that. Uh, but I'll still take questions and everything like that. Uh, so some of y'all that were there on Sunday night, you may have already texted me. Uh, if you haven't, that's my cell phone number. Especially for the newer officials, go ahead and text me your name. That way I can have you my contact information. Uh, and if you have any kind of questions as we progress through the season, I'll always be here for you to answer those questions. Okay, so glad you all are here. Uh, there's a shortage of officials. Um, it's causing a lot of issues across all the states. Uh, some states have to go as far as canceling programs. Everyone else is kind of playing games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night and getting them in whenever they can. So, uh, well, we're certainly glad that you all showed up. Now, what we have to do is make sure that you're confident and can do a great job when you get out there in the field. So we need to prepare because the players are, the coaches are, the kids are talking about the youth league and all. So we just need to make sure that we keep the games fair and the kids safe. Administratively, most of y'all have probably already done this. Registering with AHSAA, you do that on Dragonfly. When you do that, you automatically wind up with NAFOA. You pay Alabama dues. You do that through Dragonfly. Your local dues, you pay those to Tracy Goodwin, and he's the one that'll give you your books. So the sooner that you do that, the better you're going to be. Uh, get your uniform. Uh, you can order those through different companies. Uh, one stop down in Birmingham tends to show up at the camps. They've been recently just showing up at the district camp. Uh, that's kind of late for us because we will have already done our uniform inspection then. But there are different places where you can get them. And Tracy Goodwin put a good list of things on his weekly report about things you need to watch for. Uh, you have to have an Alabama referee shirt. We have our logo already embedded in the uniform. Uh, you have to have, you can't have those adjustable hats. Uh, we prefer black shoes, but if you have white trim on them, like a lot of them do, we prefer to minimize that to try to help look a little bit standard out there. But get your uniform. If you go online to Honig and use the NAFOA 10 code, you get a 10% discount. So there you go, get that. Okay, uh, we need you all to study. Uh, it's a hard read. Uh, everything is written by lawyers because it needs to be in order to keep the kids safe and really to protect us as well. So kind of pace yourself on there. Don't forget to read the fundamentals. They're on page 84 of this year's rule book. Read Rule 2, read Rule 2, read Rule 2. There's definitions in there. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And understand the mechanics. Tracy Goodwin sent an email out to everybody today with the link to the mechanics manual. If you all officiated last year, that's the same mechanics manual, so you don't need to print that off again or do anything like that. We'll talk you through about position and the whole thing about mechanics. Talks about where you're supposed to be on the field, where you should be looking, and your administration duties. when the players are on a break or whatever. Getting back to uniform, we're really going to try to have a real good inspection on the 13th of August to make sure everybody's got their uniform right. Because the moment you step on the field, you're already being evaluated by the coaches, by the players, by the fans. Were you on time? Do you look professional? Little things like just shining your shoes, that you put in the effort to get ready to do this game. So the appearance is important. We do try to have some fun while we're out there, but we also need to remain professional and be serious about the game, because the coaches certainly are serious about the game, and the kids had put in a lot of effort as well. They want to make sure that we've got them in our best interest out there. Repetition's important, just like the players. The more reps they get, the better off they'll be. And it applies to us. And obviously, you got a day job, you got family responsibilities, you have other responsibilities you need to worry about. But if you can make time for the games, that'll be great.
All right. I mean, it's stupid to think that you can live that way, because they can't.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we got scrimmages and jamborees.
All right. Well, listen, I just got home and
Hey, someone's got a hot mic.
my husband's sitting here waiting for me.
Somebody's style, so there's a lady talking in the background. If we can put them on mute, please.
Well,
How about Greg's iPad? That looks like somebody that might be.
we don't have any dandelions.
Let's see if that worked. Yeah, I think I got him. All right. Anyhow, scrimmages and jamborees, get out there, you get a whole lot of reps in. It's live field play, but the games don't count. So if you make a mistake, it's not going to be a whole lot of damage caused. Away games, I kind of put those in quotation marks, that there'll be times when we need to travel outside of Huntsville to go to a game. Carpooling is the way to go on that. And it's a good way to have a conversation with officials that have been veterans, or if there's issues that you've run into. It's a good opportunity to have a good, intimate conversation, if you will. And while you're out on the field, try to remember some of those situations you run into. Talk to us about what happened, talk to other officials about them, and I'll get into a little bit more of that later on as well. And if you like watching, NCAA and NFL games on TV, or even some of these XFL games and such, keep your high school rule book right there next to you. Because if you see something that you maybe haven't seen before, that's a good opportunity to go, well, what's our high school rule for that? It gets you familiar with the rule book, and it gets you familiar with how we handle those kind of situations. And as always, honor your assignments and all. So, how can you screw things up? The first thing is, don't show up for an assigned game. I mean, that causes a lot of problems. It hurts scheduling, it hurts the crew, possibly the team, because maybe they were expecting a 5-man crew, and now they're going to wind up with 4. So something can get missed. And someone else now has to try to pick up the slack on that. And that's just going to make things kind of difficult. It makes the association look unprofessional, also makes you look unprofessional. But things are going to happen. We recognize that. Something could have happened at work. Maybe your car broke down, or some kind of terrible thing happened that you can't get to the game. So make sure you let Jason Elin know, and definitely let your white hat know. And when you get assigned the game, everybody's phone numbers are there in Dragonfly, so you should be able to contact them pretty quickly. Or you show up late for a game. Again, that messes a whole lot of things up. It messes up our vibe going into the game, and we just have to try to compensate for that. again, just let Jason know, let the white hat know, get there as quickly as you can, and things will be great. How not to screw up, when the white hat tells you for a Friday night game to be there at 5:30, try to be there at 5:15. He'll typically say the chain crew could show up at 5:45 or maybe 6 o'clock. I would show up at 5:15 anyway. You get to see what we go through as a crew, getting ready for a varsity game, and that'll help translate onto your sub-varsity games. And when things when you get to the point where you qualify to do a varsity game, and a lot of y'all are going to do varsity games this year. So get there early. Early is always good. How to help yourself. Always ask. We all started new. And sometimes you might have to be discreet. You may find yourself in a game situation that you're kind of questioning. It could be a save the crew moment. Hey, Mr. Referee, Mr. White Hat, are you sure we're marking this off correctly? Or was that really a penalty that just happened there? Because I saw something different. Don't drag on that conversation. You're going to know when to back off. The officials on the field with you might say, they shouldn't treat you as a rookie. They need to treat you as an equal. But still, you're going to know that, okay, now may not be the time to bring that up. So give me a call after your game, or we can talk about it on Sunday night. Find it in the rule book, the mechanics manual. Those are always your go-tos. But it's a good way to learn. Make sure you ask. Know who your board members are. We're not talking about brown nosing or anything like that. But the more that you know the board members, the more they can help you out. And they could determine some of the assignments that you get as well. The better we know you, the more confidence we're going to have in putting you on the field and putting you with certain people on certain crews. Yes, we need to have a good time. There's some things we can do that are kind of social in nature, but also know when we're out there for business. That there's a time to joke around with each other, and there's a time to be serious when we're out there in the field making some of these decisions. Block off the 19th of August. Rookies will go there for free. It's a great opportunity to get some concentrated training. Typically, the training starts around 8 in the morning, and you're out by about 1 or 2 o'clock. So we'll see what the schedule looks like as the 19th gets closer. And it'll be down at Albertville at the Sand Mountain Park there. And prepare. You got to take the test. Next week, I'm going to go through a session that says this is how you take a test. So start studying right now, and I'll give you pointers next week on how to be successful. Back to the rule book. We have over 750 rules, and the good thing is they all don't happen at once. So that's how you kind of survive this whole process. So read that rule book. It may be a little bit painful sometimes, and a little bit confusing as well, but just get through it. For those that were at the class or meeting on Sunday night, it's important to understand the right language. That's going to be a sign of professionalism. It keeps you out of arguments. It takes you back to rereading Rule 2, the definitions. You're going to find that those are very important. You're going to eventually figure out what each rule covers. Like if you need to know what's happening in the kicking game, you want to go to Rule 6. You want to figure out what's happening in the passing game, you're going to go to 7. You're looking for what's the penalties for different infractions, you're going to go to Rule 9. So that gets to be pretty handy to know. And then, of course, you always have the index in the back of the book that will get you to where you need to go. The case book provides those what-if scenarios and helps you understand how when something's going to be a penalty and when it's not going to be a penalty. So if you're reading Rule 6-3-4, and you're wondering what kind of scenarios that looks like, you go into the case book and it'll say, here's some of the scenarios for 6-3-4. So that's where that comes in. So what's the rule book look like? I've already underlined and read a couple of areas that could take you back into Rule 2 for some of the definitions. You know, a snap, what's ready for play, when is it ready for play, and all those sorts of things. And by the time you read through a rules section there, then in bold, for those that were at the meeting Sunday night, I injected into the rule changes, you know, what's the signal and how many yards get marked off. This is where you find that. You also find it in Rule 9. So as you go through this, you read the rules, and all of a sudden you wind up with the boldface in there, and that kind of takes you into, you know, what happens if we wind up marking off a penalty and what the signal looks like. And next week again, I'm going to walk you through how to take the test. In advance notice here, I heard that there's 50 questions. You need to get at least an 80% on it. You get 3 tries to get to the 80%. My goal is to have you at 80% or better on your first try. I understand they've got 5 videos on there. That's new. I haven't taken the test yet. I'll do that in the next couple of days. So I'll be able to kind of give you some insight as to what that's going to look like and how you can prepare for it. I'm not going to give you the answers, but I'm going to show you how you get there. Okay, mechanics. We're going to talk about that a lot. So where are they? Why should you care? How do they work? So you have the links. Download it. If you're the kind of person that needs to print them off, like me, you know, take them to a printer someplace, or, you know, burn up your own printer. You start off looking at the 7-man mechanics. When we start putting a lot of y'all on the field for the sub-varsity games, you'll be working 5-man mechanics, but you need to start reading the 7-man mechanics, because then the 5-man mechanics tell you what the differences are. So you have to have read the 7-man to understand the 5-man, if any of that made sense. Okay, again, we have over 750 rules. They all don't happen at the same time. And oh, by the way, not everybody's responsible for calling those fouls. And that's where mechanics come in. It'll help you focus on specific ones. For example, as a back judge, which is what I typically do, I'm not going to call a false start against the offense. Not my call. I'm going to see it as a back judge, but we leave that to the wing officials, maybe the referee, maybe the umpire, maybe all the above. But you'll become more knowledgeable as you progress. When you start figuring out which rules typically you're going to be calling, so you can start focusing on those until you get to the point where you're really comfortable with the entire rule book. It helps us manage responsibilities. You know, we usually have 22 players on the field. Sometimes they have less. Sometimes we have more. And when there's more, that's easily corrected. When it's less, you know, that's a problem that the teams have. Not our problem, but it's important for us to know that. But we have to know that we got, you know, how many players we got on the field. We got to keep track of where the ball is. We got a game clock, play clock to worry about. We have a chain crew. We have timeouts and other administrative duties. So how do we sort through all those sorts of things? So there are a lot of moving parts. We may have just 4 officials, 5 or 7. So we have to, you know, spread those out to make sure that we got all those duties covered. And that's where the mechanics come in. Something you need to learn right away when you get into the mechanics manual. There's a lot of dead ball administrative duties that we all are responsible for. You know, what do we do during pregame? You know, what's the clock and the chain crew guys doing? What's happening during timeouts? You know, a heat timeout, an injury timeout. Who's responsible for getting the teams? You know, who gets the captains for the coin toss? What are we doing at halftime? When do we blow a whistle? When don't we blow a whistle? what's our clock management process? We have bean bags. If you want to be a back judge or a deep official, when you go buy your uniform, I recommend getting at least 2 bean bags. I think the standard set when you buy the uniform, I think they'll give you 2 flags, but 2 flags will be handy. Who counts the players? What signals do we give on the field? How do we do measurements? How do we change period? Those things are important even before the ball gets snapped. So definitely learn those right away. Because the crew is evaluated the entire time. There's really 1 hour of 48 minutes of playing time. The games wind up being about 2 hours or so long. There's a whole lot of stuff that we are doing that entire 2 hours plus during the course of a game. And we have to look professional while we're out there. So especially for rookies, we don't want you to look lost out there. Take pride in making the crew look good. More often than not, as long as you're in the right place at the right time, doing what you're supposed to be doing, the calls will take care of themselves. So mechanics are something we need to pay attention to. So it's a reflection on you, definitely embrace it. Okay, so what position are you considering? You're not going to be a referee yet. I know we got some officials that came in from other states or other associations. If you've been a referee, great. We'll put you on the field there that way. But for the new officials, we're going to be looking at some of the other positions for you. If you're not sure what you want to do, ask Jason Elan. He can tell you where we're short. Over time, you can try out different positions. It helps with your understanding, helps you with a comfort level, expand your availability. That all of a sudden we have an official that can't make it to a game because of a work commitment or whatever, and Jason's trying to find somebody to fill that slot. If you're available, there you go. It can help a crew when an official goes down. In 2009, I broke my leg in the kickoff for the season, first varsity game. So things happen, so that we have to be able to have somebody fill in and take a spot. Find a mentor that can help you through the process. I understand a lot of y'all were invited by existing officials. They might be able to serve as a mentor for you. They need to provide honest and constructive criticism. If you're trying to find somebody, check with me, check with Mark Russell, one of the board members, and we can get you pointed in the right direction, so you're getting the proper kind of advice that you need to get. Let me show you something quickly on the scenarios here. Any questions so far as I pull this up? Okay, you're going to see this a couple of times on Sunday nights. It's a program called Get It Right. It's a company that I founded. So we put mechanics in here. We have mechanics from 3-person crew all the way up to 7. I'm going to show you 5 just out of convenience. Goal line going in is one of the particular scenarios that you'll find in the mechanics manual. And you'll see these vision cones on here that show you where you should be looking as the play progresses. And it also shows you where your vision needs to be focused. So you see these vision cones kind of change shape. And we're going to talk about terms like this scenario. The run's going to go to the right, and that linesman over there, the head linesman, is going to become the covering official, and the line judge over here is going to be doing backside officiating. And we're going to say that backside officiating, you want to have a wide field of view. Covering official, you want to have a tighter field of view. What does that look like? What does that mean? Well, it kind of looks like this. And you see all these vision cones for the different officials change shapes. They're going to move. And all we're trying to do there is to help ensure that we got all 22 players accounted for, making sure there's no cheap shots happening, keeping the kids safe, and all that. We can go ahead and click on the official and see what he sees from his point of view. You see that spotlight effect kind of show his change of focus as he watches that running back try to break the plane of the goal line. He doesn't. He charges in. That's what we've got there. So that's kind of a sample of what that offers there. Go back to the presentation. Okay, to kind of wrap things up. Again, if you didn't text me your name and your information on Sunday night, that's my cell phone number. I want to get you into my contact list on my cell phone. And again, if you need to call me about any kind of questions, text me about any kind of questions you got, that's what I'm here for. That training program is available at getrightraining.com. It's $70 for the year. You can make it in 3 payments if you want. You download it onto your laptop. It's another way to get in reps. We got the mechanics in there for the 8 basic situations we're going to run into in the course of during the course of a game, and we have got over 100 rules animated, high school rules. So it gives you a chance to see what those look like, and again, you can watch those over and over, so you get a feel for what that rule looks like and how you would handle it on the field. On Sunday, we're going to talk about the kicking game, Rule 6. So I recommend that you spend some additional time reading over that between now and Sunday, so you'll be able to follow along what we're talking about during the course of the meeting. Again, I recorded this session. We've done some previous sessions. Those were all available. Go to YouTube and look for Get It Right Enterprises, and you'll find some of the training sessions that we did under NAFOA, and some of the training that I made coming off of the Get It Right program. Okay, I got a chat here. Let's see what we got. Okay, Todd, what you need to do, if you're brand new, show up Sunday and have you'll be ready to pay $50, or you can talk to Tracy Goodwin about having that $50 taken out of your game fees, and that's where you get the books. That's where you get your rules book, and that's where you get the case book. The mechanics manual, again, you just download those on those links that that Tracy had emailed out. Okay, who can see my messages? Recording on. Okay, everyone. Yes, there you go. Okay. Any questions? I'll go ahead and I'll stop the recording now.